Okay, so here's the deal. For our programs, you'll have the program spec, and then you'll have test cases that come with it. This here is the program spec for P1. So it gives you actual requirements for coding and the code that needs to be written. At the bottom, there's this test case write-up that gives you basically the same thing that's going to be in the other file. So the other file is the test cases that are here. This is what you'll turn in. So you can either, well, you can do a couple things. You can do these calculations by hand and then scan them in and then upload the stuff that you scan in, or you can just type them up and do them here. Or you can even type them up on this page and then turn that in. And that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to kind of go over go over the calculations, and I'll just do them here by typing it in. All right. So the gist of this program is basically you have this wine bottle. It has, you know, certain dimensions that you ask the user for, and then you have to calculate a number of things based on that. So from the spec, the main spec, we actually give you the formulas that you need here. And then the things that you need to calculate are basically listed here. So the height of the bottle, this should be output, and the height and diameter of the parts. Then it should report also the total volume in cubic inches, in gallons, and in milliliters. So all three of those volumes, plus the number of 4-ounce servings of wine in the bottle, and the weight of the filled bottle. So that weight will be the total weight. So it's going to be the weight of the bottle itself plus the wine plus the liquid. So when you're looking at the calculations, and this one, it's not what I want. From the spec, we actually give you kind of a general calculation, right? So the volume, I'm just going to say total volume. Total volume is going to be the volume of the bottom plus volume of the top plus the volume of the middle. Okay? And when you ask the user for input, they're going to give you the radius, right? So here's, I'll take the input from up here, basically. This would be input that came from the user. In our case, this is going to be what was given for the test case for the calculations. We have. So now the equations all use a radius, right? So do open that twice. Oh well. Let me get here. Right? So it's volume of the cylinder is pi r squared h, and then these are pi r1 squared, r1, r2, and r2. So it's those are basically, because it's this part of the middle cone, r1 be this part, this radius here, r2 be this radius here. If you swap them, it actually comes out the same in calculations. All right. But we have the total volume, so you have the volume of the bottom plus the volume of the top plus the volume of the middle. We want the radius, okay? So then for those different pieces, so we have the radius of the bottom should be equal to the diameter of the bottom, which is 2 7/8 inches, divided by 2. So 2 7/8 inches is 2.875. You divide that by 2, that's going to give you a radius of 1.4375. Radius of the top. So the diameter of the top is 7/8 inches, so that's going to be 0.875. And divide that by 2 to give you that radius, which is going to be 0.4375. Okay. Now notice here in the spec we do have the wine will not fill the bottle right here. The wine will not fill the bottle all the way to the top. It will be filled to 1 inch from the top of the bottle. Okay. So in that case, what that does for us is means that we have a wine height instead of height of the top. The wine height or height of the top is 2 1/4 inches, but we're going to calculate the volume, right? So for that top part, we actually need to say line height, and that's going to be equal to the height at the top, which is 2.25 minus 1. So that's 1.25. So you don't use 2.25 in your calculations for volume of the top. You're going to use 1.25. Okay, so that's why we have that there. And then we need to know the height of the middle. We can get that by taking the total height here, because that was input, right, and subtracting these other two. So total height is 11 3/4, which is 11.75, minus 2.25, minus 5.5. That gives us this red part here, this middle height. If you guys have questions, let me know in the chat as I'm going. Okay, so that's going to be 4. Now to start calculating volume. So I'm just going to say V bottom, volume of the bottom, pi r squared h, right? So we have pi. Do I have a pi symbol? Pi times the radius squared, which is going to be 1.4375. I'm just going to do caret 2 here, squared, times 5.5. So that'll give us this when you calculate it out. When I do my calculations, I always take it out of a bunch of decimal places for accuracy, because then that's going to match your program later on. And it's going to be inches cubed there. Okay, so that's the volume of the bottom, volume of the top. Pi again times 0.4375 squared 1.25. So remember where I said we're using 1.25, right, for that height. That's going to give us 0.75, 16505, 8606, which is good. Okay, questions? Still good? How does it keep my font? So the volume of the middle, a little bit more complex. It's that big long equation, right? So it's this equation here. Okay, when you turn this in, make sure to turn it in on the other spec, not like I'm doing the math here. Okay, make sure to turn it in on, not on the other spec, on your test cases. So if you're going to type it like this, it should go with this document. All right, but it's easier for me to scroll back and forth to demonstrate to you guys doing it in this one, so that's why I'm doing it that way. So the volume of the middle is going to be pi times 0.4375 squared plus 0.4375 times 1.4375. Times 4 divided by 3. Okay. Equal I times 0.19140625 plus 0.62890625 plus 2.06640625 times 4 divided by 3. It's going to come out to 36. Oops. Divided by 3 is 12.09185924. All right, 12.09185924. So then our total volume is going to be the middle, which is that. Oh, shoot. Volume of the top. This is inches cubed. Always make sure to put your units too. And this should be 0.75. Let's give us 38.54 feet, 4455 inches cubed. And the spec says to go to 2 decimal places. For us, that'll be 48.55 inches cubed. All right. So that's one piece of information that we're going to need. The other things that we're going to need is they wanted the gallons. And from the spec, we were given right here, fluid gallon is 231 cubic inches. So we have our result in cubic inches, so we just take that here, say gallons equals that result there of cubic inches divided by 231, and that will give us 0.21016643 gallons, or just 0.21 gallons. So that's another thing that is asked for, like that. Okay, so if you look up here where it says what the results are, total volume in cubic inches, gallons, and milliliters. So we've done those first 2 parts there. Now let's do milliliters. So we'll do milliliter like that. We're going to be equal to, oh, and then they also gave us that, or they, in the spec you were also given, where am I here? 1 gallon is 3785 milliliters. So we have our gallons right there. We take that, multiply by 3785, and that will give us 795.479938 milliliters, or just 795.48 milliliters. All right, so just conversions. So now we have all of this information: cubic inches, gallons, and milliliters. So now we also want to include the number of 4-ounce servings of wine in the bottle and the weight of the filled bottle. Everyone good so far? All right. No worries about being late, Darwin. Any questions? Any questions on this? If you have questions outside of the test cases, we can go over those after. Okay, are your questions on the test cases or something else? Which one? Test cases? Okay, go ahead. Ask me your question. Yep, 795 milliliters, 646 milliliters, huh? What was your, okay, so just so everyone who can't see it on the video, Simon got 646 milliliters for his total milliliter calculation. What did you get for, I say Simon? I meant to say Darwin. Anyway, what did you get for your gallons? Did you get the same as I did for gallons? 0.21, 016643? Okay, you're not there yet. Convert to gallons first. So the volume should, as long as you get 48.55 inches cubed, you should then use this division factor divided by 231, or actually 48.548455. But to convert to gallons, you should just take that number, the total cubic inches, divided by 231. That'll give you the gallons. And then when you have the gallons, you just take that, multiply it by 3785 to give you the milliliters. This will also be recorded, so you'll have access to this after to go back and look at the calculations. Okay. And hold on, this is really bugging me that the font is different, so I'm going to make it all the same. Okay. All right, so now we want to convert to ounces. Okay, and so for that, to look a couple things up. I looked it up, and 1 gallon is 128 120 ounces. Okay, so then you take 0.21, the number of gallons you had, which is right here. And you multiply it by 128 to get the number of ounces, and that comes out to 26.401. 292 ounces. Okay, and so then from the spec, we have a up here. Serving of wine is considered to be 4 ounces. So how do we figure out how many of those? We just take that number divided by 4, right? So that divided by 4 ounces gives us a serving. So that should give us 6.725 3248. And if we just do the 2 decimal places, that is 6.73 servings in this bottle. Okay, I'm going to do this last piece here so you can see it all the way. So now we want to figure out the weight. Okay, so for that, I use this conversion factor. 1 gallon is 8.35 pounds. There are some places that say 8.34. I'm going with 8.35. If you use 8.34, just make sure that you say that in your calculations. So we have 4 gallons again, which is this. And 1 gallon is 8.35 pounds. So to get pounds, we multiply by 8.35, and that will give us 1.75. 88944 pounds. $1.75. Yep. Okay. So that is going to be, and this is the weight of the wine. Okay. Now we have the bottle weight. So from our spec, it says assume that the bottle weighs 1.6 ounces for every inch of total height. So the total height was here, 11.34 inches, so 11.75 inches. So 1.6 ounces times 11.75 is the height, gives us 18.8 ounces. We want pounds, so then we want to say 18.8 pounds. 16 ounces per pound, so 18.8 divided by 16 is going to be 1.175 pounds. So then and this is going to be bottle weight. So bottle weight equal to that. So then total weight is going to be that with 2 values added. So 1.15 plus that, which will give us 2.9298894 pounds, or 2.93 pounds. And that is the last piece of information that the spec requires, so you can highlight that. I also had this one. All right, any other questions now? No more questions on these test cases? Everyone's good with this? All right, I'm going to stop this recording.